Welcome back to the Ink and Imagination podcast. Today, we'll dive into the article, Why Humans Don't Make Decisions Based on Rational Thinking. How do individuals make decisions? For a long time, influential economists have argued that humans make decisions based on rational reasoning. They believe that people choose according to utility theory, focusing solely on rational data to make decisions that maximize overall benefits. For example, utility theory would frame decisions like this. If you prefer oranges over kiwis, you would choose a 10% chance of getting an orange over a 10% chance of getting a kiwi. Seems obvious, right? The most prominent proponents of this idea were economists from the Chicago School of Economics, particularly Milton Friedman. Using utility theory, the Chicago School claimed that individuals in markets are hyper-rational decision-makers, what economist Richard Thaler and legal scholar Cass Sunstein later called econs. For econs, every individual behaves the same way, evaluating goods and services solely based on their rational needs. Furthermore, econs assess their wealth rationally, caring only about the utility it provides them. Now imagine two people, John and Jenny, each with a net worth of $5 million. According to utility theory, since they have the same amount of money, they should be equally happy. But what if we complicate the scenario? Imagine that their $5 million is the result of a day of gambling, but they started from different points. John began with $1 million and quintupled his wealth, whereas Jenny started with $9 million and lost money to end up with $5 million. Would you still think John and Jenny are equally happy with their $5 million? As we'll see, because humans don't perceive utility as rationally as the theory suggests, we often make strange and seemingly irrational decisions. Intuition. Why emotional factors sway us instead of rational considerations. If utility theory is wrong, what theory better explains our decision-making? An alternative is prospect theory, developed by the author himself, Daniel Kahneman. Prospect theory challenges utility theory by showing that we don't always act in the most rational way when making decisions. Imagine two scenarios. You are given $1,000 and must choose between receiving an additional $500 with 100% certainty or a 50-50 gamble to gain another $1,000. You are given $2,000 and must choose between losing $500 with 100% certainty or a 50-50 gamble to lose $1,000. If we were purely rational, we'd make the same choice in both scenarios, but in reality, we don't. In scenario 1, most people choose the safe option of taking the $500, while in scenario 2, most opt for the gamble. Prospect theory explains this difference by highlighting at least two reasons we don't act rationally, both tied to our loss aversion, the fact that we fear losses more than we desire gains. Reference points matter. We evaluate gains and losses relative to a reference point. In the scenarios above, starting with $1,000 or $2,000 changes our willingness to take risks, as the starting point influences how we perceive our position. In scenario 1, the reference point is $1,000, so $1,500 feels like a gain. In scenario 2, the reference point is $2,000, so $1,500 feels like a loss. Diminishing sensitivity to gains and losses. Our perception of value diminishes as amounts increase. For instance, losing money from $1,000 to $900 doesn't feel as bad as losing from $200 to $100, even though the monetary value of the loss is the same. Similarly, in the scenarios above, losing from $1,500 to $1,000 feels worse than losing from $2,000 to $500. Deceptive mental images. Why our mind constructs narratives to explain the world, but often leads us to overconfidence and errors. To understand situations, our mind relies on cognitive coherence, creating mental narratives to make sense of ideas and concepts. For example, we have mental images about weather. A picture of summer might involve blazing sunshine and beads of sweat trickling down our faces. These mental narratives help us grasp events and guide our decisions. When deciding what to wear in summer, we reference such mental images to make choices. The problem is that we over-rely on these narratives. Even when statistics and data contradict them, we allow these images to dominate. It's like seeing a summer weather forecast predicting a cold day, but still choosing to wear shorts and a t-shirt because of the image in your mind. The result? you catch a cold. In short, we place too much confidence in the flawed mental images we create. However, there are ways to mitigate this and make better predictions. Use reference class forecasting. Instead of relying on general mental images, use past data to make more accurate predictions. For instance, think about previous occasions when summer days turned cold. What did you wear then? Develop long-term risk strategies. Plan for specific actions in both correct and incorrect scenarios. By preparing ahead, you can rely on objective evidence rather than mental images. In the summer weather example, you might bring a sweater just in case. Conclusion. The key message in thinking fast and slow is that our mind operates through two systems. System 1 is intuitive and requires little effort, while System 2 is analytical, requiring more effort and focus. Our thoughts and actions vary depending on which system dominates at a given time.